There's 5 essentials that will help older runners become faster as well as increase their longevity. Hi, my name's Tom. I'm a 66-year-old runner. If you like, enjoy, or find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thanks.
And off they go. Enjoy your 3.146 journey on the beautiful banks of the Overtraining River, first run of 2026.
The number one essential for older runners over 60 is injury prevention. Injury prevention encompasses a lot, so I'll just try to summarize it fairly quickly here. And please watch some of my other videos which cover this topic as well. Strength training is absolutely essential, it seems to me, for preventing injury. I visit the gym twice a week, and there's a couple of types of strength training that I do. First, I do body weight exercises. Most of those were given to me by my physical therapist, and which of course, I recommend that when you go to your physical therapist, ask them to give you some injury prevention exercises. The body weight exercises that I do are sit-ups or crunches, and if you do sit-ups or crunches for your abdominal muscles, be sure and do safe ones. Do those that will not injure your back. We want to prevent injury, but we don't want to have back injuries. I'll just show you a video of the body weight exercises that I do that both strengthen the core as well as strengthen the hips, the glutes, and the hamstrings. I also use weights to strengthen my upper body as well as my obliques and any muscles that are above waist level. I tend to use weights rather than doing body weight exercises. Related to injury prevention is cross training. I do cross training once or twice a week. I have been doing indoor cycling. And the reason I do cross training is because I'm not able to put in very many running days. Zero impact cross training such as cycling or elliptical or aqua jogging, which I'd love to do if I had a big pool nearby that I could do some aqua jogging. That would be kind of nice. That's about the least amount of impact and zero weight bearing type of exercise that you could do. I am switching to the elliptical instead of cycling. My understanding is that you need to do as much as 3 times more cycling to get the same amount of benefit as running. So it's not a very efficient way to maintain fitness. So that's why I'm switching to the elliptical, which is closer to the running movement. Okay, the elliptical, or even better yet, the arc trainer, which is similar to the elliptical. The elliptical is fairly equivalent to running. So you do need to put in a little bit more elliptical to equal the same benefit as running. I mean, running, of course, is the best exercise if you want to be a better runner. But the elliptical is a pretty close equivalent, and of course it's zero impact, and so there's very little stress on the muscles. There's no pounding, in other words. So I'm switching to the elliptical because I'm going to get more bang for my buck, and I think that'll be a better form of exercise as far as increasing my fitness than cycling. There are some high-level athletes that have benefited from the elliptical or the arc trainer. And the one that comes to mind, the most well-known athlete, would be Parker Valby, who won numerous NCAA titles in distance running. And she was known for only being able to run about 2 to 3 days a week. And the other days were primarily elliptical and arc trainer. And so she ended up having great success. And then she went on to make the Olympic team, I believe, in the 10,000 meters at the most recent Olympics. So she's one example. I'm sure there's other examples. I've mentioned many times before in my other videos, but another type of strength training is our hill sprints. Not only does Brad Hudson recommend hill sprints, but Amby Burfoot as well recommends the use of hills to develop the leg muscles, hip muscles, glutes, all the way down to your legs and your calves. They strengthen these muscles in such a way that normal running on flat ground doesn't. Brad Hudson says they're great for injury prevention. If you can avoid injury, you're going to both run faster because you'll be able to run more, and it'll increase your longevity as a runner, so you'll be able to run for years. And of course, those of us in our 60s or older definitely would love to be able to run and exercise and live active lives, into old age. Okay, briefly, I'll rehash what these hill sprints encompass. They're short. They're only 8 to 12 seconds per repetition. Find a steep hill, run 8 to 12 seconds up that hill, walk back down very slowly to recover, and do it again. I do 4 repetitions. If you're just starting out with these hill sprints and haven't done them before, then as with any kind of interval training, start with only 1 the first day, rest a day, come back later, 2 days later, do 2, rest another day, come back and do 3, so on and so forth until your body gradually builds up a tolerance to this additional stress. You don't want to injure yourself while you're trying to prevent injury. Recovery is very important for injury prevention. I only run 3 days a week, and for me that's important, at least at this point in my running journey. I'm limited to about 3 days of running per week, and I need those recovery days in between to rest up, let my joints and muscles repair themselves so that they're ready to go again 2 days later. And of course, I've said it before and you've heard it numerous times from other people. It's very important to listen to your body as far as injury prevention goes. It's crucial because, as I just mentioned, the very things that can prevent injury can cause injury. And running, of course, is the thing where you really need to listen to your body. And sometimes you got to take unplanned days off. If you're experiencing niggles that may get aggravated from your running, then perhaps that's the day you should take off. The number 2 essential that'll help you to run faster as an older runner, as well as increase your longevity, is the 80-20 rule. I'm definitely an advocate of the 80-20 rule. What is it? The 80-20 rule means that 80% of your running be at a slow, easy aerobic pace, and then you can do 20% of your running at a harder pace. Maybe it's a hard workout day. That's a really good balance. Even the elite world-class runners approximately follow the 80-20 rule. It does vary. That percentage does vary a little bit depending on what part of the season they're in. Essential number 3 for faster running as well as increasing your longevity is consistency. Consistency is quite often not mentioned, but it's crucial. If you take too many unplanned days off, then you're going to lose conditioning and you're going to be more at risk for injury when you come back from that time off. So It's important to be consistent with your running day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, over the course of a lifetime. I think there's two things that can keep us from being consistent with our running. First, the most common thing would be injuries. So injuries are going to cause you to take unplanned days off. So that brings us back to the first essential: injury prevention. Injuries can seemingly be out of our control to make us inconsistent, but I've already discussed injuries in point number one. So the second thing that can get in the way of our consistency in running is motivational problems. So we might not be injured, but we just don't feel like getting out there and running, and so we're going to lack motivation. And I think there's some ways to increase our motivation so that we are willing to get out there and run according to our plan. The word plan is one of these things that will help with our motivation. In other words, make a plan, make a schedule, make days of the week when you're going to get out there and run. So if you don't have a plan, then you're going to go by feelings and emotions, and rather than discipline or whatever. So a plan will help you to be motivated to get out there on a scheduled day when you're supposed to run. As I mentioned before, a lack of recovery will take away motivation. If you're running hard on what are supposed to be your easy days, you're going to be fatigued and you're not going to recover well enough, and consequently you're not going to feel like getting out there and running. So you're going to take unplanned days off simply because you're too tired to run. So be sure and make your easy runs easy so that you can recover and have the energy to get out there and run. I've got another video in my archives that is about consistency and motivation, and so I go into more detail about consistency, how it's so crucial to our running, so that we can both run faster as well as run for a lifetime. The fourth essential to running faster and for a lifetime is our nutrition. It's crucial to eat healthy and to have quality nutrition. For me, that means avoiding refined sugar and even the healthy carbohydrates. Too many of those will kind of mess with the blood sugar and put on a few extra pounds that you don't need, that kind of thing. So eat a lot of green leafy vegetables and have a balanced diet. Of course, you do need a few healthy carbs, and be sure you get your protein. In the area of nutrition, I've mentioned before that I am something like 26 pounds overweight. I don't weigh myself very often these days because I don't like looking at the bad news. If you are on a weight loss diet, make sure it's not a crash diet. Primarily focus on quality nutrition. And if you're not gorging on those carbohydrates, refined sugar, or even too many healthy carbs, then the pounds should naturally come off, especially if you're running and exercising on a consistent basis, because aerobic running burns fats. The fifth essential that will help you run faster as well as run longer, as in your entire life, the fifth essential is have fun running. Okay, that may sound kind of trite and like I'm just trying to use filler in this video, but it's not. Having fun with your running is absolutely crucial, I think. It's a well-known fact that happier people live longer and unhappy people live shorter lives. There is a question as well, why are people happier? Maybe it's because they live a healthy lifestyle and, don't take illegal drugs, don't drink too much, don't smoke, that kind of thing. And so naturally they're going to feel better and be happier. But there is a correlation between happiness and long life. There's some things that can get in the way of enjoying your running. things that I've mentioned earlier in this video, like perhaps you're not recovering well enough, perhaps your diet is bad. Check out a previous video of mine that has to do with how running can improve your mood. Running does improve your mood through the creation of endocannabinoids, which are released during any kind of exercise. It can be aerobic, anaerobic, threshold level. It all causes endocannabinoids to be released, which are specifically induce a good mood. Endorphins are also released through running. Endorphins are primarily, I believe they're hormones that are painkillers. So they indirectly increase your mood because they are released during running, and they do take away some pain during your run. Of course, that's going to make you feel better. I think one way to have fun running is to not take competition too seriously. I love to compete. I think if you've watched my videos, you've probably come to that conclusion. I love to compete primarily against myself. Although if there's somebody with me during that last half mile, then I'm going to take advantage of that and do my best to finish ahead of that person. And that actually did happen on January 1st, less than a week ago. Ran a 5K. I was very unhappy with my time. It was something like, 27:30 something, and not what I had planned. However, there was an opportunity to compete. There was a young lady that I was with the last half mile, and so that motivated me to push a little bit harder. Not because it was a woman. I'd have done the same thing if it was a man. So my point is that competition can be a healthy thing that actually makes you happier as a runner, but if you take it too seriously, whether it's competition against yourself or competition against others, it can be a downer, and I think it can make running less fun. So personally, I just like to get out here and run, training, whether it's aerobic exercise or that 20% hard day. I just like to get out here and get that heart pumping, and that makes me happier. Okay, to summarize today's video, there's 5 essentials that will help older runners run faster in 2026, as well as increase their longevity. So hopefully you'll be able to run into a ripe old age. These essentials are injury prevention, 1, and 2, applying the 80-20 rule, 3, consistency, 4, good quality nutrition, and 5, have fun running. Thanks for watching. And again, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and have a great 2026. Bye.